welcome to the Millennium Stadium in Featherstone, where we're here to bring you uninterrupted commentary of this Betfred Championship Round 8 clash between Featherstone Rovers and Toulouse Olympique. Both sides coming to the game desperate for a win, with Featherstone off the back of a sensational second half fight back against York last week. 16-0 down at half time. They came out with a wet sail in the second half, came out worthy winners by 24 points to 22, and it was just Paul Cook's men's second championship win of the season. They come into the game in 11th place, looking to build some momentum here with a win over the French side and start climbing the table, where Toulouse, they come in off a week off, fresh off the bye 2 weeks ago, comfortably dispatching Sheffield in Sheffield, but will be looking to continue momentum with their season. Still early days, of course, but they find themselves 5th on the table and looking to mix it with the top 4. We've got the team news just a few minutes away from kickoff. We'll start with Featherstone, with Paul Cook making 4 changes to his side that came out, as I said, narrow winners over York last week, with Gadwin Springer suspended for 2 matches, drops out of the side alongside King Vuniyayawa, who's picked up an injury. Callum Turner drops to 18th man, and Nathan Wild has been recalled on loan to his parent club, Lee. But a boost for Featherstone, they're able to recall the experience and class of Ben Reynolds, who starts in the halves, with Sitaleki Akawala starting up front, ex-Toulouse player, of course. After 6 games out, he's joined by Toby Boothroyd in the back row, who's missed the last 9 through injury, and Gareth Gale takes his place on the bench. So Featherstone line up like this: Caleb Akins is the fullback, 3-quarter line of Daryl Alforts, Bailey O'Connor, Jaden Hatton and Connor Wynn. Ben Reynolds partners Ryan Hampshire in the halves. Up front for Featherstone, Sitaleki Akawala, Will Jubb, Jimmy Beckett, Toby Boothroyd, Claire Webb and captain Danny Addy rounding off the starting side. On the bench for the hosts, Connor Jones, Josh Hardcastle, Jordan Williams and Gareth Gale. As I mentioned, Callum Turner is the 18th man. Well, Sylvain Hules makes 2 changes to his side that beat Sheffield 2 weeks ago, with Romeo Tropis and Ellis Gillam dropping out of the side. They're able to recall Ollie Ashal-Bott, the exciting fullback, who starts at the back, with Greg Richards coming onto the bench for their side. So Toulouse line up like this: Ollie Ashal-Bott is the fullback, 3-quarter line of Paul Ulberg, Ruben Rennie, Paul Marcon and Benjamin Laguerre, with Thomas Lecans, former Featherstone man, facing off against this side since securing a release from Featherstone earlier in the season. Partners Jake Shorrocks in the halves. Up front for Toulouse, Lambert Belmas, Anthony Marion, Rob Butler, with Maxime Stefani, Mathieu Jousson and Joe Cater rounding off the starting side. On the bench for the visitors, Baptiste Rodriguez, James Romanos, Greg Richards and Joe Bretherton. So just a few minutes away from kick-off here. The stage is set. It's a fairly warm and still afternoon and should open itself up some fast-flowing rugby league this afternoon. I'll just go through a little bit of history between the two sides. This corresponding fixture at Post Office Road last year, Featherstone came out 22 points to 10 winners last August, and it was actually the first win over Toulouse since 2018. And in the summer season, the most recent history, of course, Toulouse coming into the competition as one of the newer clubs in the RFL setup. Since 2009, this will be the 20th meeting between the two sides, Toulouse holding a slender advantage with 11 wins to Featherstone's 8. And who could forget the most historic game between these two clubs was so far, the 2021 Championship Grand Final, of which Toulouse got the better of Featherstone by 43 points to 12 and secured their promotion to the top flight, their 1 season in the top flight in Super League. But recent history, as I mentioned last August, with Featherstone getting the goods over Toulouse on their home patch, we're looking to do the same again this afternoon and get back-to-back wins in the Championship for the first time this season. And as I said, Paul Cook, still early in his tenure, looking to build some momentum, able to recall some experience into his side. Sitaleki Akawala, of course, will be looking to have a big game against his former club, as will, conversely, on the other side, Thomas Lecans. Few seasons here at Featherstone, left in the early season on compassionate grounds, now finds himself in the colours of Toulouse and facing off against his former side for the first time. The referee for this game is Matty Lynn, and we're just awaiting the two sides to come out onto the field. Been informed ahead of kickoff that Featherstone will attack from right to left up the slight hill in the first half at the Millennium Stadium. And Featherstone have shown they can do it the hard way. Paul Cook extremely complimentary with the character and resilience his side showed in the second half last week. As I mentioned, half-time they were down by 16 points to 0 against a very confident York side and battled back with 4 converted tries to lead 24 points to 16. And although York came back late with a consolation try to make it a nervy ending, Featherstone held out, showed the grit and determination that Paul Cook's been looking for since taking charge earlier this season, and set them up nicely to build some confidence, start to build those combinations. Been a lot of team changes through injury and suspension so far throughout the year. But having a little bit more of a settled side, having Ben Reynolds back, of course, a huge boost. Wasn't risked last week with hip tightness. But he's okay to play his part this afternoon as both teams come out onto the field. Featherstone in their predominantly navy strip with white trim, and Toulouse in virtually all white strip here. It's set to be an exciting clash. Toulouse play an extremely expansive brand of rugby league. Like to throw the ball around. Featherstone have been learning how to play tough recently, and we'll be looking to match them in the middle. A couple of big names and big forwards, of course, missing for Featherstone. But they'll be looking to go toe-to-toe with their French counterparts this afternoon. So the stage is set, the teams are ready, we're ready. Betfred Championship round 8 action. Featherstone Rovers versus Toulouse Olympique here on FRTV. And it looks like it's Ollie Ashalbot will be the man to get this game underway. Puts boot to ball and the game is underway. Featherstone with the first attacking opportunity of the game, and it's taken by Hampshire straight into the arms of Jimmy Beckett, who careers back into a trio of Toulouse defenders and will play the ball 20 metres out. Jubbard acting half, gives it to Alforts. Second game back in the side now. And to Featherstone with the unusual rotation of having Gaz Gale on the bench this afternoon. Certainly for back cover, should anybody pull up injured, as Addy plays it on the 40. This is Akawala. First touch for him against his former side, couple of seasons in France. And his first in Featherstone colours, as I mentioned, back after a 6-game absence, as Aikins comes forward and up and over the halfway line. Dominant set, first of all, from Featherstone. Good yards on this set. Hampshire, who had an excellent second half last week, puts the ball high. A little bit of a miscommunication between Toulouse, and they almost made a mess of that. Ruben Rennie on the far side, eventually tidying up. And Toulouse come forward with their first possession of the game. Put to ground outside their own 10. Rennie come forward again. Second touch for him. Through the middle comes Ulberg. Up to the 30-metre line, middle of the tackle count. Marion waits at acting half. Ashalbot back in the side, a real live wire he is. But he's put on his back there, and strong tackle over the top from Webb, and Reynolds just losing a little bit of momentum. This is the last one. Shorrocks will kick under pressure. Taken 10 metres out. And he's put on his back there, 30 metres away from the line. So the early advantage, field position-wise, is with Featherstone as Wynne crabs across field, and he's put to ground by his former teammate, Lacans. A few extra defenders is still going, in fact. Best part of 15 metres on that carry forward from Wynne, and still messing around on the play of the ball, and doesn't draw a 6 again, though. As it comes out now to Addy, straightens the line, gives it to Reynolds. Nice pass to Webb. Webb's into the backfield here. And can he get round Ashalbot? He tries to go around him, but Ashalbot comes again and had shades of putting him into touch. He just manages to stay in field 10 metres out. This is a great start as Hatton tries to sneak one down the short side, but he's put to ground and done remarkably well to stay in under the attention of 3 Toulouse defenders. This will be the last one. Big kick coming up here early in this one. The chip kick into the middle of the field. It's taken on the try line there by Tommy Lacans, and he's picked up and driven to the try line. I had a feeling that if he'd have gone behind that try line, it would have been a penalty against Featherstone, as this often is, but he plays it right on the line, and this is Rennie now looking to get the ball forward. A quick play of the ball. Marion gives it on to Cater. Not much room in the offering for Cater, as he's met in a strong challenge from Jubb and Akawala. Still 10 metres out. They've had 3 players here. Marcon, he's going nowhere. Put to ground by Webb. This is great, energetic start from Featherstone so far. 4 minutes gone, 0-0, but Featherstone very much dominating the early exchanges as Belmas is put on the ground. Still inside their own 30 here. They're going to have to kick from deep as Shorrocks does so. Gets plenty on it through the middle of the field. Takes one bounce between Alforts. They should have really taken that one on the full as Alforts has to track back an extra 15 metres there. So Featherstone not really punishing Toulouse as well as they could have at the end of that set with the kick. A good kick downfield it was in the end from Shorrocks. O'Connor now. Plenty to like from what Featherstone have been doing in the early minutes here. But neither side able to trouble the scoreboard yet. It's an untidy play of the ball, eventually into the arms of Hatton. Hatton just takes it to ground for a minimal gain. Addy, shaped to pass, kept hold of it himself. Put to ground in the tackle of Butler. And Jusson. Up and over the halfway line goes Aikins, was a vital try scorer in the fight back in the second half last week against York as Hampshire puts the ball high again. Ulberg is underneath it in that far corner. He fires the pass over to the middle of the field for Ashelbot, giving it some width here. Now it's out to Laguerre, who gives it on to Marcon. Marcon trying to get on the outside of Wynn, and he almost did so, but got just enough of him for Reynolds to finish him off. So enterprising play from the visitors. Laguerre with his second touch in this set, up and over the halfway line. This is Toulouse's best period of the game so far. Jusson waits at acting half. Out it comes now to Shorrock's first receiver. Just takes them on himself. Put to ground by Hatton and Jubb. 40 metres out from the Featherstone line. First play of the ball for Toulouse in their opponent's half. Marion out to Cater. Gives it on to Butler. Butler nowhere to go. He stands in the tackle of Beckett with Akawala there to finish him off with help from Boothroyd. End-to-end stuff so far in the opening minutes. Lacans gives it to Rennie. Rennie, strong shot underneath the ball there from Boothroyd, but he plays it quickly. Marion scampers down the short side. Kick over the top from Lacans. Aikins takes it bravely and gets straight to ground. And he's bundled back again in similar fashion to what Featherstone did defensively in the last set of 6, but just able to stay in the field of play. And now it's Toulouse's turn to front load their defence at the far end. 2 tackles gone. Featherstone still in their own 10. O'Connor met 3 physical Toulouse defenders. Belmas and Cater, primary tacklers. Jubb shapes to go one way, comes through the middle, pinches about 5 or 6 metres. Still not much ground in the offering for Featherstone so far in this set. Addy just takes it up. No nonsense carry, and that's a relieving one up to just shy of the 30, but this will be the last one. Featherstone are going to have to kick from deep here as Hampshire fires it downfield. This will be taken on the full by Ashelbot. 20 out. 6.5 minutes gone. Featherstone 0, Toulouse 0. And a really keenly fought physical contest so far as Ashelbot is put on the ground by Jubb. Laguerre up to the halfway line or just short. Plays it. Shorrocks gives it on to Ulberg. Ulberg route one through the middle of the ruck. Leaves 2 defenders on the ground. This is a big carry from him as Reynolds comes again. Second attempt. He's looking to try and get that ball free. And eventually dies with possession there. But not before he's made 25 metres on the carry. And Toulouse now inside enemy territory as Belmas bounces out of the tackle. And defenders had to converge on him again to put him to ground. 30 metres out. Cater, ball playing in the middle, flat pass there for Butler, cries for forward, not given by the ref, untidy offload, it's picked up and knocked down there by Reynolds, and it'll be a 6 again, so Toulouse starting to mount a little bit of pressure, and the referee eventually stops the game for a double knock on, and we will have our first pause for everybody to take a breath. Almost 8 minutes into the game of continuous play, no mistakes, no penalties. This is the first stoppage, so everybody will just take a breath. But it will result in a Toulouse scrum and a full set of 6 for the visitors to attack the Featherstone line. Feed the scrum. Marion fires it out to Lacans. Lacan gives it to Rennie. Rennie put down in the tackle of Hampshire. Boothroyd in there as well with O'Connor. 20 metres out. This is just the first tackle for Toulouse though. No score as of yet. Belmas takes the pass from Cater through the middle of the ruck. He's still going. Untidy offload but picked up by Marion, who bumps away from one. Gives it back to Cater, who started the play. Takes the ball up to the 10 metre line. Good tackle underneath from Danny Addy. 10 metres out. They've got options left and right. They come left. Marion gives it on to Belmas on the charge. What a tackle that was down low by Akawala, a try-saver. He plays it. Marion gives it out to Shorrock. Shorrock's out to Ashelbot. They've got space out wide. They gives it out to Laguerre. Laguerre crashes in the corner. Has he got the ball down? He celebrates as if he has, and the referee awards the try. He concurs in that far corner. So after a good initial start, the opening few minutes from Featherstone, they weren't able to capitalise on the possession they had, and Toulouse have built into the game slowly. And off the back of that set restart and a scrum feed, a full set of 6, they went from left to right through a few pairs of hands, just creating the space through Ashelbot to Benjamin Laguerre, who squeezed in the narrowest of spaces in the corner to get the first points of the game. With 9 minutes of the game gone, it's Featherstone 0, Toulouse 4. And Featherstone didn't do a lot wrong defensively there. They had their line bent out of shape a couple of times. That ferocious carry from Belmas on the previous play. Great defensive scramble there from Featherstone. But then they were just able to get the ball out quickly. Shorrock's handling it. Ashelbot, we know the speed he's got. Just created enough doubt in the minds of the edge defence of Featherstone to allow Laguerre to squeeze over in the corner. And we said before the game, they like to throw the ball around, already showcased that style of play at their own end, this time coming up with the goods at the right end of the field as Shorrock looks to add the extra 2 from the touchline, and he's pulled it across the face of the post. The try will go unconverted. At the 10-minute mark, it remains Featherstone 0, Toulouse 4. So Ryan Hampshire will get the game back underway. He's got plenty on that one. It's taken in the in-goal area by Ashelbot, was the architect really, supplied the last pass for that try as Belmas off the back fence is put to ground by Addy and Beckett. 15 out. Laguerre, the try scorer, play 2 through the middle of the field. Big, tall, rangy winger. Managed to pick up 5 or 6 metres after contact there as Butler comes through the middle. Good contact on him from Akawala. Akawala rolls out of the back of the tackle there as they come forward. Shorrock just drops off Jusson, gives it to Ashelbot. Ashelbot's into the clear here. Can he go around Akins? That's a great tackle from the Featherstone fullback, and it had to be. But he plays it quickly, already over the halfway line as the pass comes out to Lacan. Lacan comes off his left foot, but the Featherstone defence is there to meet him. Great tackle from Boothroyd over the top from Beckett. They've closed down the danger for now. Last tackle for Toulouse. Shorrock puts it high into this corner, looking to put Wynn under some pressure. Wynn takes it nicely and bumps away from Marcon. Tries to get away from Laguerre and he's put to ground. They've got just enough of him to put him on the ground, but he stays in the field of play. Toulouse, you feel, have upped the ante in terms of their energy in the last few minutes, as I mentioned. Coming off the bye, haven't played for the best part of 2 weeks. Freshen up the bodies. As Paul Cook going to his bench early, with Akawala off the field already, with Jordan Williams brought into the action. And he's straight onto the ball here. Williams was fantastic off the bench, had a real impact in the fight back. Come from behind, win against York. He plays it 35 out. Hampshire under pressure, kicks early over the top of Ashelbot. That's not a bad one, but Ashelbot scurries back to take it on the 10. The Featherstone chase isn't bad. They're going to cut him off on about the 20, and Webb meets him and affects the tackle. Said about Toulouse having fresher bodies. There's just a few of them starting to walk behind the players. 2 or 3 just not quite yet back on side. As Laguerre plays it. Ulberg puts his head down. We're contrasting physically the 2 Toulouse wingers, but very effective in their own right. As Marcon rather. Put to ground, 5 short of halfway. Marion hands it off to Ashelbot, just doing a lot of running and trying to pick out some tired, flat-footed defenders in the middle. He plays it 5 metres into Featherstone territory. Last tackle, the kick from Shorrocks, another high one. Taken by Wynne. Jusson was up quickly, but he almost got round him, beats Laguerre. Laguerre comes again, beats him for a second time. Eventually put on the ground by Marcon and Jusson. And they give away a penalty. And the first penalty of the game going to Featherstone, and what a relieving one it is. As the game feels like in the last 5 or 6 minutes or so to be played exclusively down Featherstone's end, and this will be a relieving piggyback upfield. I think he almost doesn't find touch. In fact, he hasn't found touch. A cardinal sin from Reynolds. A great athletic play from Ashal Bott, managed to tap it back in, and he gives it on to Rennie, but what looked to be a relieving play for Featherstone has now turned into more pressure as Toulouse take over possession up and over the halfway line here on just the second tackle as Marion looks for an offload, can't find it. Reynolds just not quite getting the connection he wanted. You could see what he was trying to do. He was trying to arc it round and get as much territory as he could, but didn't quite get it right. Belmas plays it, 35 out. First receiver is Shorrocks, options inside and out. Gives it out to Lecans, out to Ashal Bott. It's tipped on, Marcon's dropped the ball there, and that'll be a knock on. And good pressure from the edges there, from Jaden Hatton and Connor Wynne, forcing the error from the visitors. And that examination of their defensive prowess will please Paul Cook. Came up with the answers there, and it'll be the scrum feed. 35 metres out from the Featherstone line. 15 minutes gone here at the Millennium Stadium. Score remains Featherstone 0, Toulouse 4. Listed on FRTV. The Benjamin Laguerre try after just 10 minutes. The only score of the game so far. So Featherstone. Pass comes out to O'Connor. Plenty of pace, O'Connor. Would love to see him in the clear at some point. It's Beckett. No nonsense carry through the middle. Belmas and Marion just put him to ground slowly, getting plenty of men in the tackle. Featherstone fans don't like it. Plays it quickly. Nice outward play there for O'Connor from Hampshire. And O'Connor just finds a little bit of room in the middle as a Featherstone man's been flattened in back play. I think it's Toby Boothroyd, still hasn't got back to his feet. We normally see those penalised, but play allowed to go on. Addy gives it out to Reynolds, shapes it, gives it to Aikins. Aikins just tries to step back inside, but Jusson was there to help out Shorrocks. Featherstone up to the 20-metre mark. Boothroyd is okay, takes his place back in the lineup. Pass comes out to Reynolds, first receiver, out to Addy now, straightens things, gives it to Hampshire, crabbing across field. The pass comes out to Alfords, Alfords into the clear, he cuts back inside, as Toulouse did just enough scrambling on the inside. 10 metres out, last tackle, Hampshire. The kick coming across field, going to be a contest. As Marcon drops it, gives it to Addy, Addy's going to score himself, the Featherstone captain! And the referee stops playing, hasn't given it yet. But it looked like a kick, a contest in the air for the kick. As Marcon dropped the ball into the path of Danny Addy, who just dummied and dived over the line, and have Featherstone got their first try of the game here. The referee doesn't look to be awarding this try. In fact, he's going to give a penalty against Featherstone. And the only reason I can think without the benefit of a replay is tackled in the air. He's given offside, in fact. So a chance goes begging for Featherstone. Obviously ruled that there was nothing wrong with the contest, and I must say, live it didn't look like it. But actually, yeah, with the signal, the referee was offside, and that's a fine detail that you can't afford to get wrong in these games, and that'll be frustration for Paul Cook and Featherstone as Toulouse go back on the attack off the back of this penalty. Jusson will play it 40 out. Cater, out it comes to Butler. Butler still going, put on the ground. Just a few metres shy of the halfway line. Marion waits at acting half. Out to Belmas, who's been busy through the middle. Gives it to Shorrocks. Shorrocks out to Ashal Bott. Ashal Bott to Marcon. Marcon skips over the grounded defender. And he's closed down in the middle of the field by Jubb. Addy in there as well. 10 metres into Featherstone territory, Toulouse. Cater keeps hold of it this time, former Hull FC man. Advances the ball up to the 30, and Marion over there. Belmas at pace. It's cut down in a good low tackle there by Beckett. They'll play the ball 20 metres out on the last. Comes out to Lecan. Lecan's it high. Alfords takes it well, and in fact he's dropped the ball there. They've just got in his eye line. And he's made the mistake, but what's the referee going to rule here? Is it double knock on here? And it's a scrum feed to Toulouse, so the knock on does go against Olfits. And it was a good kick from Lacan. He put it high, gave plenty of time for his chasers to take it. They just got in the eye line of Olfits, and Olfits puts it down, and more pressure to be applied on the Featherstone line here. 18 minutes gone. Featherstone 0, Toulouse 4. Toulouse looking for back-to-back tries. Shorrocks gets the ball off the scrum, gives it to Marcon. A little bit underwhelming, the execution there. Easy work for the Featherstone defence on that play. Still a full set of tackles to come. Shorrocks crabs across field, gives it to Butler. First contact there was strong from Jubb. Over the top was Addy. Bang in front of the post, they come out right. Ashal Bot, out the ball, it comes to Laguerre. Laguerre's already got one, cuts back in field, and Laguerre gets a second. As simple as you like. There wasn't a great deal on through the middle of the field. They just got the ball wide early. Ashal Bot again firing the ball over the top. And Laguerre this time, it was the first time he squeezed in the corner. This time came off his right foot, left a couple of Featherstone defenders in his wake, and dives over for his second try of the game. Just before the 20-minute mark. And a big blow there for Featherstone as they go 2 scores behind for the first time in this game. It's now Featherstone 0, Toulouse Olympique 8. And he stepped inside. Hatton, Reynolds did his best to try and get in front of him. But there was no stopping Benjamin Laguerre. 2 calm finishers, giving a little bit of space from the men inside him. Good play again from Shorrocks and Ashal Bot involved. But Featherstone, off the back of the mistake, the Daryl Olfits error, have been punished. In similar vein to the first try that Toulouse scored, 2 mistakes. 2 full sets attacking in the Featherstone 20 have brought 2 tries. And Jake Shorrocks now has the conversion attempt slightly further in from his previous one to put Toulouse out to double-digit lead. This one is closer, but still pulls it across the face of the goal. So the score remains Featherstone 0, Toulouse 8. 20 minutes of the game gone here at the Millennium Stadium. As Featherstone make another change, Jubb off. Connor Jones started the half-back role last week, reverted to hooker in the second half and was very effective. Featherstone looking to respond here. The good news for Featherstone is that Reynolds is back on his feet, stayed down after that second try was scored, but has recovered. He's back into the action. So the kick comes again, taken on the touchline there by Laguerre and handed on to Butler. Butler leaves Addy on the ground, but gets straight back up. Looked awkward in the contact, but he's fine. And Butler plays it. Laguerre with a spring in his step, an early double inside the opening quarter of this game. Marion waits at acting half. Cater just making too many inroads for Featherstone's liking through the middle at the moment, playing with pace. Coming down this slight hill as Marion doesn't get a best strike on that one. Looking for a 40-20, but Wynn cuts it off, gives it back infield now to Akins. And Akins is put to ground there by the kicker Marion. Wynn scragged to the ground there by Marion, who doubles up on his defensive efforts and still holding him down. Jussom in there over the ball. Hatton looking to get the ball forward. Webb put to ground there on the Featherstone 40, middle of the tackle count. Out the ball comes now through hands to O'Connor. O'Connor leaves the man on the ground, but he's lost the ball in the tackle there, and It's picked up by Rennie, and Featherstone just making too many mistakes. Another error inside their own half as Ulberg on the attack, and Toulouse in prime position again to put Featherstone under pressure. Belmas still going forward. Up to the Featherstone 30-metre line, middle of the tackle count, plays it centre field. Marion gives it out to Cater. Nice play for Ashal Bott, flicks the ball over the top, fortuitously into the arms of Jussom. Jussom through the middle of the ruck, and he's put to ground there in the desperate tackle from Reynolds. He's got the ball right up to the 10-metre line. Pass comes back through the middle, out to the left now. Lacan in behind the line here. It's battered dead by Alforts, who did a great job, it has to be said, to retreat back there and get in between the man and ball. Otherwise, the Toulouse chasers were in for all money, but it will be a goal line dropout, and another set of 6 coming up on the Featherstone line here. The pressure is really mounting on Paul Cook's side. They need a response defensively here. All are running with Toulouse at the moment. Featherstone 0, Toulouse 8. 24 minutes gone. Hampshire takes his time. Gets plenty of it. Taken by Laguerre on the halfway line and handed on to Butler. Butler careers back into the Featherstone line. Beckett there to meet him with help from Williams and Addy. So Toulouse start their set 30 metres out. Pass comes centre field to Cater, on to Belmas. And he's lost the ball in the tackle there, Belmas, but to have done so illegally. A penalty for a ball steal, and the pressure ramps up one more notch. An interesting call to be made here for Toulouse. They're well on top in this game. Will they roll it on? In fact, they're going to go for the 2 points. An interesting decision from Toulouse, and one I'd imagine that Featherstone will be quite happy with at this point. Been energy sapping for Featherstone in the last 10 minutes or so. Toulouse have just been rolling downfield, not been helped by a few errors made inside their own half. They're going for what they think is an easy 2 points here to push it out to a 10-0 lead. Featherstone just need to take stock, regroup a little bit, because they've been rocking in the last few minutes or so, but seems like an age since we saw any player down at the other end of the field. Certainly no panic from Featherstone so far as Shorrocks guides the ball between the sticks and takes the scoreline now to Featherstone Rovers 0, Toulouse Olympique 10. As I said, Featherstone found themselves in a similar position last week. But obviously not ideal circumstances to be going few scores down and having to come from behind, but Featherstone are going to have to do that again this afternoon if they're going to get anything from this game. 10-0 the scoreline. Hampshire gets the game back underway. Ashal Bott pouches it on the try line, on to Butler. And Butler plays it. As they make a third change of the afternoon, Paul Cook's men. Hardcastle is onto the field, replaced Jimmy Beckett. And interestingly for Toulouse, we've got 25, 26 minutes on the clock. They haven't made a change yet, so really showing that those fresh bodies. Toulouse, of course, coming off the bye as they come forward again. Out it comes to Belmas, ball playing to Shorrocks, out to Ashal Bott, out to Marcon, onto Laguerre. Laguerre already got 2 tries, trying to get on the outside. Fires the pass in field, that's a mile forward, and the referee picks it up. And in fact, it's just play on because the ball went to Ben Reynolds anyway. Great desperate defence on the edge from Hardcastle, who's straight back into the action now with ball in hand. And up and over the halfway line. He's driven back just Featherstone's side of it with a 3-man tackle. So Featherstone with a little bit of possession here and a set of 6 inside Toulouse's half for what has been a long time. As Alfords plays it, really slow play the ball again. Jones sniping out a dummy half, drops it off for Williams. Williams put to ground 30 metres out. They come right now, Hampshire. When it comes to Boothroyd, Boothroyd spinning out of tackles, put on the ground there. Desperate defence on show from Lacan. Out Hampshire, on to Addy. Addy comes off his left foot, looks to go back the way he came. Out to Webb, on to Akins. Akins is met in a good one-on-one tackle off the wing by Ulberg to close that one down. Last tackle for Featherstone. Need something from this if they can. The kick comes out from Hampshire. It's taken on the try line there by Laguerre, and Laguerre is put back into the field of play, into the in-goal area rather, and it will be another set of 6. So a good take from the Toulouse winger, but a well-weighted kick from Rocky Hampshire, and manufactures another set of 6 for his side. Looks like they've done a little bit of reshuffling here. Webb now moving into the middle of the field, with Hardcastle coming in the back row. The drop out, they've gone for a short one here. Shorrock's just rolling the dice. It's battered backwards by Toulouse, and it's gone 10, and it's gone into the arms of Ashal Bott. So that is the modern interpretation of these short dropouts. There's not as much risk as there used to be, and often teams trying their hand, and Toulouse coming up with the goods. On this occasion, as Rennie plays it, onto Ulberg. Ulberg plays it 40 metres out. Marion gives it to Kate, who had to reach for it. As Toulouse go to their bench for the first time this afternoon, Joe Bretherton into the action in replacing Lambert Belmas. It's a double substitution, in fact, with James Romanos also brought into the action. As the kick comes, taken on the far touchline side by Akins, who weaves across field looking for some space, looks to try and straighten things up, and he just meets the attention of Cater, who puts him on the ground. So Toulouse rotating their starting forwards. Butler and Belmas off, Bretherton and Romanos on. Wynn comes forward, fighting for every metre. Connor Wynn leaves a man on the ground. Hardcastle trying to spin out the tackle of Jusson, but he's helped out there by Romanos. Out it comes now to Addy. First receiver straightens, gives it to Hampshire. Space opening up out wide as Akins digs into the line. Akins trying to get on the outside of Lacanza, regroup well to put him to ground. Out it comes to Hampshire, back down the short side. O'Connor's going to do the kicking here. Unorthodox, but kicks it through the middle. And it's taken well there by Ashal Bott, who got above Connor Jones, under a little bit of pressure, took it well, the Toulouse fullback. As we head inside the final 10 minutes of this first half, score remains Featherstone 0, Toulouse 10. And a double to Benjamin Laguerre, and a penalty goal to Jake Shorrocks. Featherstone yet to get on the board as Laguerre bursts straight through the middle, finds the pass for Ashal Bott. He chips over the top. And he had Marcon in support, but Connor Wynn goes back to get the ball, and really well defended in the end by Connor Wynn, but he's put to ground there by Ashal Bott, and will play the ball a couple of metres out. And then they give away a penalty. Marcon with a second effort on the ball, and all of the good play that they've created is undone. And poor play really from Toulouse. If you were being super critical, Ashal Bott had Marcon on his outside, didn't use him, opted to go for the chip kick through the middle. Connor Wynn got back really, really well to cut off the danger, but then Marcon just losing his cool on the ground, going for a second effort and a relieving penalty, which Featherstone do find touch with on that far side. The Ryan Hampshire start their set 30 metres out. The clock says we have 8.5 minutes to go till the break. Still 10-0 in favour of the visitors. Boothroyd off the tap restart. Clay Webb through the middle as Addy is taken from the field, and Gareth Gale, we often used to seeing him on the flanks, looks like he's going to be playing some form of role through the middle this afternoon, in light of a few middle forwards missing for Featherstone, giving away plenty of size, of course, as Hampshire gives it out to Akins, drops off Boothroyd. Boothroyd back against the grain. Hampshire. Out it comes to Reynolds. Reynolds out it comes now to Jones. Jones fires the pass over to Wynne, who had to reach for it. Just tries to go around Laguerre, but they regroup well and put him to ground. 35 out from the Toulouse line on the last. Pass comes back in field. Reynolds just hooks the ball downfield. It'll be taken on the try line by Ulberg. A decent chase. He's put to ground, the first one there to meet him, Gareth Gale. Ashalbot hands it on to Stefani. Hasn't had a lot of opportunities on that edge, Stefani. A lot of the danger and damage that Toulouse have done is down their right edge so far, as Rennie through the middle. Another change made by Toulouse. Greg Richards on to replace Joe Cater. Toulouse will play the ball here through Bretherton. 40 metres out from their line. Shorrocks wants a 40-20. It's going to skip away, but he's not going to quite have the angle on this one. In fact, it almost bounced towards the touchline at the last minute, forcing Aikens to play at it. And he's met by a wall of white jerseys. And Toulouse doing that part of the game slightly better than Featherstone for mine. Decent kick length downfield, and the chase more often than not has been excellent. Featherstone looking to clear the line once again. Reynolds plays it for Alforts now. Alforts taking men forward with him. Good strong run through the middle from Alforts. Took 3 defenders up to the 30-metre line and gets a quick play of the ball. Webb ball playing, gives it to Reynolds. Out it comes to Hatton. Hatton now straightens it up. Almost went through the line, and a penalty comes in for a high shot on Hatton. Shorrock's the man penalised for it. A stray arm. And that's a big penalty on the 40-metre line late in the tackle count. And we're just under 6 minutes to go to the break. Featherstone 10-0 down. We'll get an opportunity before half-time to go on the attack here. Reynolds will look to make no mistake this time. Puts it into touch on this near touchline side. And Featherstone will start their set 30 metres away from the Toulouse line. Play stop, 2 balls on the field. Referee recognising that, as Aikens dumps the ball out of play. We're okay to carry on, and Hardcastle takes the first carry of this set. Full set of tackles to come for Featherstone. They're deep inside Toulouse territory. Can they get on the board just before half-time? Webb to Gale. Gale, good carry from Gale. Up to the 10-metre line. He'll play it to the right-hand side of the posts. Open side they come on the left. Out the ball comes to Hampshire. Untidy pass, but it's picked up by Hatton, who gave it to Wynne, and the pass wasn't where it needed to be. And a real coach-killing mistake from Featherstone. You could see what they were trying to do. They'd created some space, but the execution was lacking. And the end result is an error on play 2. When they've been starved of possession at this end of the field, and frustration for Paul Cook and his side just before half-time. They let Toulouse off the hook there without really firing a shot. Just everything was a little bit hurried there. The pass to Hatton was untidy along the deck. His pass, not much better. It beat Connor Wynne into touch. And Toulouse will just take over possession on their own 10. And Rennie comes away with the first carry. Score remains Featherstone 0, Toulouse 10 on FRTV. Ulberg plays it 30 out. Stefani on the short side. Best part of 15 metres on that carry up and over the 40, put to ground by Webb. Marion gives it out to Bretherton, centre field onto Romanos. Romanos plays it 5 short of halfway. Off the ruck is Ashalbot. He'll play it on the last tackle. Lacans will kick from 40 out. Taken by Aikens. Aikens on the 10, gives it on to Alforts. And Alforts is bent backwards, but still gets another couple of metres after contact there, Daryl Alforts. And Richards all over him in the middle of the field. Hardcastle. These are the tough carries. Trying to get up towards the right end of the field, and it's a strong carry from Hardcastle. Still taking defenders with him. Up to the 30. Short side play, it comes now for Hatton. Hatton making good contact there by Jousson. Hardcastle again, doubles up, second carry in this set, bumps away. Great metres on offer from Josh Hardcastle off the bench. will play the ball 5 short of halfway in the middle of the field. They come down the left edge. Reynolds out to Hatton. Hatton had to cut back in field and he's put on the ground. Almost a dangerous tackle there, but the referee saying it was fine. Last tackle. Reynolds kicks from halfway and he's put the ball out of play on the full and he was under pressure. And again, the boot, Reynolds just letting him down and it will be a turnover just Toulouse's side of halfway with a few minutes to go to the break. Toulouse, if they get through this set, will have an attacking opportunity to add to their lead. Score remains Featherstone 0, Toulouse 10. Bretherton with the first carry, up and over the halfway line. Romanos plays it 40 out. Lacan gives it out to Rennie. Rennie tried to get on the outside of O'Connor, who did a good job to put him to ground. Rennie plays it quickly for Ulberg, who had space, gives it back to Lacan. Out to Marion. Romanos on to Bretherton. Good defence there to swallow him up from Gale. Shorrocks. Out it comes to Jussom. Jussom trying to get his arm free. Good tackle down low there by Reynolds. A decent defensive set so far from Featherstone, but the danger not averted. Last one, 20 metres out. Shorrocks puts boot to ball, looking for some challengers on that far side. The ball bounces backwards for Alfords. Alfords got to try and get out of the in-goal area, but he can't. As Toulouse trap him in the in-goal, and another set of 6 coming up here, and O'Connor's been left in a bit of strife on that far side. Was a casualty of the contact in the air, I think, contest for the ball. And the physio's on to treat him here. We'll just have a brief stoppage. Certainly hope it's nothing serious for Bailey O'Connor. It was a good kick from Shorrocks, landed right on the try line. I think O'Connor may have actually got a hand to it. It bounced backwards into the arms of Alfords, who was there to tidy up again, but was powerless to get out of the in-goal area. He seems okay to carry on. We'll get the game back underway. An untidy kick comes down, a couple of bounces to Laguerre, who's scored the only couple of tries in this game, and he's hit high there by Hardcastle. He's on his way to the ground already, Laguerre, but the contact was high by the looks of things, and the referee just stops play here while Laguerre gets some attention. He jumped back to his feet quickly, it has to be said. It will be a penalty against Featherstone. It'll be interesting what they want to do here, Toulouse. It's a kickable penalty, about 10 metres in from the right touchline, 20 metres out. They lead by 10 points to 0. Will they opt to go for an extra 2, or do they want to try and roll things on and increase their lead by more? Laguerre is up on his feet. He's fine to carry on. Be interested to see whether the referee does now. Referee just consulting with his touch judge. Hard to see from where we are, where the force of the contact. As I mentioned, Laguerre seemed like he was on his way to the ground, but Reynolds, who's the captain on the field at the moment, is called out. Looks like at the moment it's just penalty sufficient. So Toulouse will have the penalty at 20 metres out, and they are going to go for the 2 points here. So perhaps breathing a sigh of relief there. We've seen obviously plenty of cards so far in this week's action for head contact. I'm not suggesting that that was any worse or than any that we've seen previously, but people being seemingly, referees very, very quick to sin bin and send off players for head contact this week. So Josh Hardcastle staying on the field. That is a boost for Featherstone. Jake Shorrocks has the ball on the tee, looking to put them 2 converted tries in front, approaching half-time. 20 metres out, 15 in from this right touchline. Shorrocks It's guided the ball between the posts. And that takes the scoreline now to Featherstone Rovers 0, Toulouse Olympique 12. It was right on the stroke of half-time, in fact, as the siren sounds to end the first half. And a chorus of boos ringing around the Millennium Stadium. I believe they're not entirely happy what they've seen from the officials this afternoon, as Featherstone have found themselves on the end of a couple of decisions and a couple of moments that they'd like back. At times, poor discipline, but then errors that they couldn't afford to make inside their own half, which has given the advantage to Toulouse. And Toulouse, having started slowly in the first few minutes, clicked into gear, certainly looking the more energetic as the half went on. They opened the scoring after just 9 minutes with a Benjamin Laguerre try in the right corner. 10 minutes later, Laguerre doubled his try tally, cutting back in field with space to get his second. And since then, Featherstone have regrouped defensively. They've been under pressure, but their line has held firm. But a couple of penalties, a couple of slips in discipline have seen Jake Shorrocks add 2 penalty goals in the final 15 minutes of the first half, which leads the half-time score. The Featherstone, with plenty of work to do, they find themselves 12-0 behind. Paul Cook will be eager to get his men in at half-time. As I said, regroup, reinstate the message. They know that they can do this. They know that they come from behind. It's a very similar position to what they were in York, against York last week. So this contest by no means over, but certainly not the way that first half's gone in terms of Featherstone, the way they would have wanted it. Half-time here at the Millennium Stadium. It's Featherstone Rovers 0, Toulouse Olympique 12. We'll be back for all the second half action in a few minutes' time. and welcome back to the Millennium Stadium in Featherstone, where we're at half-time in this Betfred Championship Round 8 clash between Featherstone Rovers and Toulouse Olympique. Half-time score, Featherstone 0, Toulouse 12. Both sides just coming back out onto the field here. Featherstone with plenty of work to do in this second half. There'll certainly be plenty of belief in the side from Paul Cook and his men after overturning a 16-0 deficit half-time lead against York last week to run out 24-22 winners. The Toulouse in control of this one at the moment. Featherstone looking for their third win of the championship season to climb up the table. Toulouse looking to back up a comprehensive win over Sheffield 2 weeks ago and break into the championship top four. So they get the game back underway. Featherstone attacking from left to right as we see it down the hill, but Toulouse with first possession. But Greg Richards takes the first carry off the restart and is put to ground 20 metres out. Brotherton up to the 30. Marion waits at acting half. Lecan to Romanos. Plays it on the 30. Stefani takes the carry, put to ground by Webb, helped out by Gale. Gale playing as the middle forward off the bench, remember, this afternoon. Oshel Bott, who had a few moments in the first half, but Featherstone largely doing a decent job on him. He'll play it on the halfway line. Out the ball comes to Shorrocks on the last, kicks it from the halfway line. High-hanging one taken on the 5-metre line there by Aikens. Aikens skips across field looking to get around the outside of his man, but door closed on him by Brotherton. Strong kick chase from Toulouse to round off their first set of the second half. Win. Good shot up and under the ball there. They're driving him back. It's difficult to put on the ground, Connor Wynn. So strong through the middle. Eventually plays it. Alforts back through the middle. And the penalty goes against Toulouse. Just a second grab at the ball there, and Alforts with a dominant carry wins a penalty for his side. How valuable this is, and a good start and a good boost for Featherstone to start this second half as Ryan Hampshire finds touch on this near side, and Featherstone will start their set 5 shot at the halfway line. Boothroyd, big collision comes in from Lacans. Hampshire hands it on now to Gale. Gale just straight up carry through the middle. So good at doing this usually off the wing, now doing it through the middle of the field. Plays it 40 out. Reynolds, first receiver, out it comes to Hampshire. Hampshire straightens, gives it to Aikens. Aikens out to Hatton. Hatton trying to move in traffic, put to ground by Jusson. And Marcon on that far side. 20 metres out now. Williams takes the ball from Reynolds inside the 20. Marion is down low to meet him with Brotherton in over the top. They're bang in front of the post, 20 metres out. They come right on the open side. Hampshire, out it comes to Aikens. Aikens bats it on, it comes off the head of Bailey O'Connor and then is taken into touch by Lacans, but the referee's going to rule that there was a knock-on from Featherstone there. And has he given it off? Toulouse, in fact. They come off Boothroyd's head. And Lacans has knocked on. We believe the call is, so this will be Featherstone possession. Yes, in fact, it looked like it had come off his head, the referee ruling there to have done so, and then Lacans, the man making the mistake. So with 3 minutes of the second half gone here, Featherstone have a golden opportunity to open their account for the first time this afternoon. Scrum feed 15 out, bang in front of the posts. Scrum feed is 1. Jones fires it out to Reynolds. Reynolds flat pass there for Hatton, who took it at pace. The defence scrambles to put him to ground a couple of metres out now. 10 metres to the left-hand side of the post. Tries to skip now, dummy half here. Jones, but can't quite get to the line. The Toulouse defence regrouped and was alert to the danger. Hatton acting half. Out to Gale. Gale just takes the carry himself. Steadies the line. Bang in front of the post again. Out it comes to Hampshire. They're moving the ball right to Boothroyd. Boothroyd Tries to stand in the tackle of Lacans, who comes with help from Rennie to put him to ground. And he'll play it 5 metres out. A couple of tackles still to come for Featherstone. Hampshire has the ball in his hands. Fires the ball out to Reynolds. Reynolds, out it comes to Hardcastle. Hardcastle left a man behind him, but they just regrouped once again, clinging on defensively to Toulouse. Last one. They come down the short side. Hampshire, pass manufactured from Hatton, but into touch again. And just the execution letting them down a little bit, Featherstone. They tried to stack that short side with numbers, battered it on Hampshire. Hatton tried to do the same, and again, similar to an opportunity in the first half, the ball just evading win into touch. And Toulouse's defensive line survives. Featherstone, the half chance, goes unpunished. Score remains Featherstone 0, Toulouse 12. As Rennie first carry off the restart. 3 Featherstone defenders in to meet him. Ulberg. Good contact on him from Jones through the middle of the field. Richards, met by Williams. Jones doubling up on his defensive efforts. Toulouse up to the 30-metre line now. Bretherton through the middle. Jones making a 3rd successive tackle in the middle. Marion gives it out to Ashal Bott. Ashal Bott weaving, leaves a couple of men on the ground. He's put to ground by Gale on the halfway line. Last one for Toulouse. Shorrocks, this time fires it out wide to Jusson, onto Marcon. Marcon with a chip over the top. It's taken a bounce, and it eventually bounces up into the arms of Wynne, who had to be brave there. An awkward bouncing ball in the face of 3 defenders. Did well to collect the scraps there for Featherstone. And Hatton trying to get forward. Alfords looking to move forward again. Hampshire waits at acting half, gives it on to Webb. Webb just trying to get every metre forward he can, put to ground, 40 out. Reynolds drops it off now for Hardcastle. Hardcastle just wrestling his way up over the halfway line. As Hampshire puts the ball high. Reynolds is after it, and Ashal Bott climbs high and takes it, and he's caught over the shoulder there by Hardcastle. And the referee allows play to go on. Ulberg. Real arm wrestle in the opening 6 or 7 minutes of this first half. De Laguerre, 2 tries in the first half, the only 2 tries of the game in fact. Scragged to the ground there and a good tackle from Jones. On the halfway line, Toulouse, up and over it now through Romanos. Romanos finds the offload for Richards, takes it one-handed, back through the middle of the field. Richards just skips into the backfield and he's put to ground in a good low tackle from Gale that needed to be made. Toulouse creeping closer to the Featherstone line. Marion gives a flat pass there to Lacans. Lacans plays it, 15 out. Shorrocks on the last, kicks out wide. Wynne takes it well on the try line, and he manages to stay in the field of play. Does really well there, Connor Wynne. But he's picked up a knock in that tackle. And he gets up very slowly, very gingerly to play that ball, and crashes down to his haunches as Hatton. He's been driven back in the tackle there, Hatton, and he's put to ground on the try line again. 2 tackles gone. It doesn't get much tougher than this. As Hardcastle comes forward, driven back in a 3-man tackle again. That's 3 tackles gone. They're only 2 metres off their own line, Featherstone, as Toulouse trying to make a statement defensively here as they pick up O'Connor and drive him back now. Featherstone simply cannot get forward in this set as Boothroyd spins out a 1 tackle, and in 5 tackles Featherstone have made 8 metres, and this needs to be a big kick from Hampshire, who puts it downfield. This will be taken on the halfway line by Ashal Bott, who fires the ball out to Laguerre. Laguerre just straightens it up, and Toulouse, through their defensive efforts, now have a full set of 6 inside the Featherstone half. Still Featherstone 0, Toulouse 12. The next score in this game is huge. Marion waits at acting half, gives it on to Richards. Richards put to ground by Addy, who's back on the field. 10 metres out. Bretherton off his right foot, straightens. Good tackle down low there, coming in from Addy. Gale in over the top. Got options left and right to lose. They're smack bang in front of the post. They come left. Marion gives it to Richards. Richards rumbling over to the line, but he can't get the ball down. Fantastic defence on show there. I think Webb was the man who got hold of the ball. Boothroyd in there to help out. And a fabulous effort in the in-goal area to prevent Richards from scoring. But still tackles to play with. They come left. Lacans. Lacans dribbles the kick through. And that's going to beat everybody over the dead ball line. So a moment the former Featherstone halfback would like again. Featherstone's defensive line survives, and they've got a 7-tackle set here coming downfield. What a huge, huge play that was from the Featherstone defence on that previous play to stop Richards scoring, to lose his 3rd try. Hardcastle now has been hit hard in that tackle and has actually been collected high. Romanos pleads his case with the referee, Matty Lynn, but it's really stung Josh Hardcastle there, and he split him around the eye there. The referee just stops the clock. It'd be interesting to see whether Romanos has any further case to plead here. Just getting some running repairs here, Josh Hardcastle, as tough and resilient as they come. Take more than that to get him off the field, but certainly must have been some contact, decent contact around the head for them to split him like that. So just taking a stoppage now, primarily to allow Hardcastle to get some running repairs. Hardcastle is okay to carry on. And the referee is just going to wave just a penalty sufficient. So Hampshire finds touch on that far left touchline. And they will start their set now. Featherstone 40 metres away from the Toulouse line. And Hardcastle straight back into the action. Takes the first carry off that penalty and comes together with Romanos once again. He's looking to try to get to ground to play the ball. They're all over him, not allowing him to play the ball as Addy gives it off to Gale. Gale been effective through the middle of the field. 30 metres out, Hampshire. Out it comes to Reynolds. Reynolds out, the ball comes now to Akins. Akins just straightens the attack, takes on Rennie and Lacans, who did well to bring him to ground 10 metres out. O'Connor fires the pass infield to Reynolds, out to Addy now. Addy, ball playing in the middle, gives it to Gale rather, who hit the ball at pace. He's inside the 10 now, just on the left-hand side of the uprights. Couple of tackles still to come for Featherstone. Hampshire, dummies, goes himself, almost caught them napping, but the defence on the inside was good in the end from Richards. Big play coming up here. Featherstone looking to open their account. 2 scores adrift at the moment. Addy fires the ball out to Reynolds. Reynolds stabs the kick into the in-goal area here as Lacans goes back for it, and he's taken high there by Toby Boothroyd. And the players come together in a little bit of unnecessary pushing and shoving. Thomas Lacans stays down in back play. And Boothroyd, I think the man penalised, just creeping up slightly high there. Lacans is ducking down, obviously, low to the ground to pick up the ball. They just caught him high. And a near opportunity turns to frustration again for Featherstone. The kick from Reynolds was a decent one. It kicked on into the in-goal area. There was only Boothroyd chasing, and as soon as Lacans wrong-footed him, just hung out an arm. And concedes the penalty. Another stoppage in play here. We've had a couple of lengthy stoppages. This time Lacans getting some treatment. He is okay to carry on. And for the 3rd time, we will look and wait to see if there's going to be any further action here.
Anthony!
Calls the captain out here,
Anthony!
Danny Addy.
Right, I've got the initiative.
Leads both captains together just to try and calm things down, I think.
Maxine running in and taking control away from me.
A little bit of pushing and shoving.
I completely understand it, but next time something like that happens, I'm not scared of putting people over there, okay?
Both captains.
I've got the penalty there up there, Danny.
Anthony Marion, Danny Addy, just having a conversation with the referee here. Looks like there's not going to be any further action other than a penalty here. But the referee just giving both sides a warning after a few players coming together there on the back of that penalty. But as it is, Toulouse will find touch on this near side, and will start their set now 30 metres from their line. Rennie taps it, gives it on to Lecans, who's recovered from that hit, and hands it on to Bretherton. Bretherton put to ground by Addy, and Jimmy Beckett just come back onto the field to replace Gareth Gale. Richards plays it quickly. Shorrocks drops off Romanos. Plays it 5 metres into Featherstone territory. Shorrocks flat pass there for Jusson. Cries for a forward pass there from the Featherstone fans, not given by the referee. Shorrocks. Bretherton. Play on the last tackle. Marion finds Shorrocks. Going to kick from 30 out. Put this very high into the air here. Taken on the try line there by Wynne, who has a little bit of room to wind up this time, but the chase was there to meet him once again. The kick chase from Toulouse coming to the fore. Hatton. Tried to beat the first man. Marion got hold of him. Getting numbers into the tackle here, Toulouse. Put him back on the ground, 10 metres out. 14 minutes of the second half gone. Still remains the scoreline. Featherstone 0. Toulouse 12. As it was at half time. As Jones picks up from dummy half and goes. Best part of 15 metres on that carry. And wins a penalty for catching them offside. Not square around the ruck. And the game just becoming a little bit stop-start with the number of penalties we've had since half-time. But this one going in Featherstone's favour, an opportunity to clear their line once again. Kick to touch on that far side. Featherstone start their set now 40 out from their line. Hardcastle. Picked up and put on the ground there by Marion Jusson. Addy onto Webb. Webb hides that first contact, still going forward. Webb up to just short of the halfway line now. Second tackle for the home side. They come short side now. Hampshire gives it to O'Connor. Just got enough on him, Ruben Rennie, to just pull him to ground. Plays it quickly. Out the ball comes to Hampshire, onto Addy. Addy out to Reynolds. Reynolds fires the pass out early to Hatton. Hatton looking to go on the outside of his man. It's been a good battle this afternoon between him and Marcon. Marcon puts him to ground. On the far side, 30 metres out now, Featherstone. Pass comes back to Reynolds. Out and it comes to Addy. Addy just tries to straighten things. And Addy will eventually play the ball 25 out, middle of the field on the last tackle. Hampshire, shape to kick, comes back through the middle of the field, bumps away from 1-2, fires the pass over the top to Wynne. Wynne puts it on the toe, the chip over the top is cut off on the full by Ashel Bott. And the Toulouse fullback diffuses the danger for his side. Mark on now. This is where Featherstone need to up the ante defensively with their energy. 16 minutes of the second half gone. No change to the half-time score. Still Featherstone 0, Toulouse 12. As Toulouse go to their bench once again, and we see the introduction of Baptiste Rodriguez for the first time this afternoon. Skipper Anthony Marion getting a break as Rennie. Put on the ground by Addy. Rodriguez finds Shorrocks, who kicks from 40 out on the last, through the middle of the field, taken on the full by Aikins. Aikins now has a little bit of room to wind up before he meets the defence on the 40-metre line. So that's Featherstone's best defensive set of the second half in terms of field position. What can they do with it as Alforts stands in the tackle there, three-man Toulouse tackle. Here comes O'Connor. O'Connor bent backwards in the tackle there. Cries for a high shot, not given. So O'Connor stung in that tackle of Bretherton. Over the halfway line now on play 3 through Hardcastle. Addy picks it up nicely in the middle of the field. Hampshire into the line with Boothroyd at pace. Was put to ground there by Lacans, who got in front of his man. They're going to kick from the last here. 40 out. Hampshire puts it high again. Hasn't got a lot of distance on that one. Takes the bounce. Battered back by Webb to Alforts. Alforts, without looking, passes to Hardcastle. Comes off his legs, kicks it again, Hardcastle. And Hardcastle eventually picks it up, manufactures a pass out. It's eventually picked up by Jusson, but the double knock-on given. And a really, really untidy end to the set from Featherstone there results in a play the ball for Toulouse just short of the halfway line. So just losing their way a little bit with that one. And Paul Cook would like a little bit more composure in that sense. All looked a little bit rushed and panicked. As Boothroyd is down to receive some treatment. Just been struggling in back play there for a little bit. "18 minutes of the second half gone on FRTV. Featherstone 0, Toulouse 12. Boothroyd is back on his feet and he's okay to carry on. Referee blows time back on. Ulberg with that first carry. Good contact from Boothroyd, straight back into the mix. Cater's back on now for the visitors, and he takes the ball up and 10 metres into Featherstone territory. Play the ball centre field. Rodriguez. Out it comes to Shorrocks. Shorrocks with a kick through the middle of the field. It's well weighted. If it bounces up for Ashalbot, he will score, but it goes a bounce too far and almost sublime for Toulouse. Fortunately for Featherstone, it went a yard too long, and a 7-tackle set for the home side. Aikens quickly back up to get the game restarted and plays it 25 out. 35 out, I beg your pardon, as Alforts comes up and over the 40-metre line. Tough carry again from the Featherstone winger. O'Connor. Brave carry up to the halfway line. Out it comes to Addy, out to Reynolds. Reynolds on to Aikens. Out it comes to Wynn. Wynn needs to just put the foot down here. He puts the kick down the touchline. Marcon's going to dive on it. And he's knocked the ball on there, Paul Marcon. And through the innovation of Connor Wynn down that touchline, they've manufactured a golden opportunity here. And as we approach the final 20 minutes here, you need to think time starting to become a factor for Featherstone. They need to get a score soon, and they have the best opportunity they've had for some time in this second half. Scrum feed will be Featherstone's. Nice enterprising play, good pass over the top, an early ball there out to Connor Wynn. Just put the foot down, kicked the ball back infield. Marcon was first to it, but rolled over the ball, trying to pick it up. And a full set of 6 coming for the home side here. What have they got in attack? Scrum is right in the middle of the field. Ball comes out. Hampshire wants it and gets it. Flat pass there for O'Connor, who took it. The defence was there to meet him, and a shot off the ball there on Hampshire, and it will be a penalty to the home side. Not sure who the culprit was for Toulouse, but penalised straight away for the late contact on Hampshire, who bounced straight back to his feet. And Hampshire will be the man who taps and restarts this game. Does so, gives it to Addy. Out it comes to Reynolds into the line. Ben Reynolds looking to split the line and almost did so. Eventually dragged to ground a couple of metres out. 10 metres to the left-hand side of the post. They come back on the short side. Webb. Webb's got some space. Can he get to the line? Webb. Rodriguez stuck to him really well and saved what would have been a try. And he's bundled back a metre into the field of players. Reynolds dummies, tries to go himself, and he's lost the ball there, Ben Reynolds. And it was contact on the ball there from Shorrocks. And another mistake in good ball from Featherstone. Just killing themselves without being able to apply any real sustained pressure to the opposition. And another stoppage in play here is Shorrocks now the man getting treatment. Webb's on his haunches as well for Featherstone, just in the arms of the trainer, but he looks okay. Featherstone again, counted 3 or 4 occasions where they've had a full set of 6 in the Toulouse 20 and just not been able to get through their sets. This time Reynolds, with all the experience, puts it down. And Featherstone not been able to pull the trigger on their attack. Still waiting for this game to resume as Shorrocks is back on his feet now. It looks like he'll be coming off for a HIA. So a little bit of reshuffling will happen here for Toulouse, Sylvain Houlez's side. 19 minutes and 7 seconds on the clock. Listening on FRTV, it remains Featherstone 0, Toulouse 12. No change to the half-time score. Benjamin Laguerre, 2 tries, the only 2 tries of the game, and 2 penalty goals to Jake Shorrocks. The difference between the two sides. Featherstone, after over an hour of play, yet to trouble the scorers. For 20 minutes, just under 20 minutes, still a long time to go. But the scrum feed will be with Toulouse here. Marion back on the field to replace Shorrocks. Rennie, first carry off the scrum, runs at Hampshire. With help from Hardcastle, puts him on the deck. Ulberg, that's a big tackle coming in. Ball and all, and Hardcastle, and he's knocked the ball on Rodriguez, and that's a huge play. As everybody gets round Josh Hardcastle, that's the sort of play that they need to try and turn the tide and build some momentum and some belief here. Just picked him up, unceremoniously dumped him on the floor. Rodriguez has just come onto the field, losing the ball in contact, and will settle for a scrum again here, and Featherstone get a do-over. Can they get to the end of their set here? Can they trouble the scorers? A try brings them right back into this contest and brings this healthy Millennium Stadium crowd to life. Out the ball comes. Reynolds out to Akins. Akins tries to square things up. Marcon did well tracking from the inside. Puts him to ground 10 out. Reynolds. Out it comes to Webb. Webb off his right foot. Put down in a 3-man tackle. 10 metres out. Open side they come to the right. Williams back into the action now. Takes the pass from Addy, and there's going to be another penalty here for offside against Toulouse. So some real sustained pressure on the Toulouse line, but Featherstone simply need to start making it count. There are only 12 points adrift here. A try, converted try, it's a 1-score game. Tap restart, Addy have to go back for a controlled restart. Jones eventually allowed to tap and go. Addy straightens it up, dummies himself, drop of the shoulder, he almost got through, but Cater did enough to pull him to ground, and they drag him back the best part of 10 metres there. Plays it. But Jones skips out of dummy half to Webb. Webb steps off his right and then his left, gets up to a metre away from the try line. To the left-hand side of the post now. They're going to come back through the middle of the field. Addy drops off Beckett. Beckett winds it up. Good tackle down low by Cater. 5 metres out, bang in front of the uprights. They come right. Hampshire digs into the line to Akins. They've got a score here. It comes out to Orphans, who strolls in the right corner. And Toulouse shot up quickly to try and close down the danger. It was a lovely pass out the back to Hampshire, from Hampshire to Akins, who just summed it up beautifully, tipped it on to Alfords, who strolled in without a hand laid on him, and all of the pressure eventually tells on the Toulouse line, and Featherstone opened their account for the first time this afternoon and bring themselves right back into this game. We've got 16 minutes to go here at the Millennium Stadium. Featherstone have given themselves a lifeline. It's Featherstone Rovers 4, Toulouse Olympique 12. Fantastic play from Featherstone in the end. Been times where it's been frustrating, but that time the attack clicking into gear, and this man was the architect of a lot of the space, but he's just pulled the conversion. Ryan Hampshire to the left-hand side of the post. Still remains an 8-point scoreline. Featherstone 4, Toulouse 12. But that very much a leg up that Featherstone needed. Can that kickstart the comeback for the second week running here for the home side? Lovely play from left to right. Alfords the beneficiary in the corner. And Ashelbot will get the game back underway for Toulouse. Kick-off taken on the try line by Hampshire, given on to Beckett now. Beckett thunders back into the line, met by Brotherton. 15 minutes to play. Featherstone 4, Toulouse 12. Not out of the fight yet, Featherstone. As Alfords, the try scorer, comes forward, plays it 30 out. Williams up and over towards the 40-metre line. Addy. Out the ball comes to Hampshire, out to Akins, gives it early to O'Connor. O'Connor tries to go around his man, sits Lecans on the seat of his pants. But he's wrapped up in the end by Stefani. Hardcastle trying to get up and over the halfway line, spins in the tackle and eventually goes down. Not a bad set of 6 after points for Featherstone. Hampshire digs into the line, gives it to O'Connor, gives it to Alfords. Alfords hooks the ball back in field, doesn't get a great deal of distance on it. It's battered backwards, goes through the legs of Hardcastle. Alfords fires the pass out now to Reynolds. There's a little bit of space now if they can get it there. Reynolds going across field, fires the pass out to Wynn on the left touchline now. Wynn hooks it back in field. And it takes a couple of bounces over the dead ball line. And a little bit of panic. Had to chance their arm there a little bit, Featherstone, but went from touchline to touchline. But that final kick, not where it needed to be. And a 7-tackle set coming up for Toulouse now, who make a couple more changes to their lineup. With Belmas and Butler back onto the field for what you'd imagine will be the remainder of the game. Romanos and Bretherton onto the bench. Stefani play it 40 metres out from the Toulouse line. Cater, flat pass there for Butler. Butler stands in 3-man tackle, still going Butler, eventually put on the ground by Williams and Connor Jones. Marion fires it out now to Marcon. Marcon trying to go around Hatton. Hatton does well on the inside and puts him to ground. Inside the Featherstone half now, Toulouse. They come through the hands to Belmas. Belmas through the middle. Belmas is put to ground. 30 metres out now on the last. 12.5 to go. Lecans puts the kick up high. Looking to put him under pressure. Alfords did well there. Took it right on the try line. But the kick chase was a good one. Well-weighted kick from the Toulouse halfback. And that'll be another set of 6 and a goal line dropout coming up for Featherstone. How quickly this game can turn. A lacklustre last play from Featherstone that they had to try and chance their arm. Resulted in a turnover near the halfway. And now Toulouse going back on the attack on the back of a goal line dropout. You'd imagine that Featherstone might try a short one here. They have gone short. Marcon takes it well and does exceptionally well to stay in the field of play. Connor Wynn was immediately on him. The Toulouse will now start their set 15 away from the Featherstone line. Laguerre put to ground 10 metres out on a hat-trick. Rodriguez fires the pass out to Cater, who puts the ball down, and the pass was out in front of him, wasn't quite where he needed it. And he just puts the ball down, and the let-off this time for Featherstone's defence. 11.5 minutes to go on FRTV. Featherstone 4, Toulouse 12. A try for the hosts brings it, the game, to a grandstand finish. But at the moment, Toulouse hanging on to that two-score lead rather. Hatton off the scrum win. Just bullocking his way forward. 3 Toulouse jerseys around him. He'll play it on the 20. Webb takes on Rodriguez. Help from Belmas. Butler, he's put away on the 30. Addy looking for options to the middle. Just bumps off one man. Tries to bump away from a second. He's put to ground on the 30 there for minimal gain. They come left. Reynolds digs into the line. Out the ball comes. It was an untidy one behind Hatton. It's picked up there by Wynn. Wynn through the middle of the field, looking to try and straighten up. Beats one. And Rodriguez just gets just enough on him, in fact, to put him to ground. Jones skips out a dummy after the left, but there's no options. Gives it to Reynolds, standing still, looking for the 40-20. It hasn't quite kicked on as he'd wanted it, and Ashal Bott's there to cut it off on that 20-metre line. Looks to straighten up. Ashal Bott spins out of the tackle, but ridden to the ground there by Jones. 40 metres out now. Laguerre. Put to ground 5 short of halfway. Addy's taken a bang there in that contact, kept reeling out of that tackle. He just limps back into the defensive line as Rodriguez pinches 10-15 metres out of dummy half there through the middle, and Toulouse up to the Featherstone 30-metre line. Inside the final 10 minutes here. Featherstone 4, Toulouse 12. Lacans on the last. Kicks from 20 out. Kick coming. Alfords takes it well there. And he's brought to ground immediately by the Toulouse chase, but great take from the Featherstone winger. So the only points in the second half going to Featherstone, but Daryl Alfords try, but importantly, still an 8-point deficit to overcome. And we're inside the final 10 minutes, and that was a risky pass from Alfords. Reynolds won't thank him for that one, manages to salvage possession for his side as Hardcastle trying to get forward. Toulouse have done a good job of slowing the play of the ball down for the most part. As Featherstone make their final change. Webb off the field as Hampshire, ball in his hands, gives it to Aikens. Aikens straightening the up. O'Connor gives it early to Alfords, and it's a forward pass. And that's just poor execution, unfortunately, from Featherstone. And a few players just shaking their heads. And time really starting to become an enemy now of Featherstone. And this will be a scrum feed now for Toulouse, 30 metres out, and a chance to kill the game off, you feel, if they were to score here. Featherstone need to be on their mettle defensively. Cannot afford to concede again. Mark on. Plays it, 30 out. Cater off the left foot, beat Addy but couldn't get past Reynolds. Good textbook tackle from the Featherstone 6. Plays it quickly, Rodriguez skips out to the right, gives it left, and that's a good shot on Butler from Addy, but he managed to skip out of that tackle, put to ground and eventually by Beckett. 8 minutes 20 to go. Lacans under pressure, skipped away from Boothroyd but couldn't get away from the attention of Jones and Hampshire. 10 metres out now. Ashal Bott dinks the ball into the in-goal area. It's picked up and it's dropped by the Featherstone man, and Stefani will score. He picks up the crumbs skipped across the line and dots the ball down, and that will be the try that puts the game to bed for Toulouse. Their first of the second half. It was a chip through the line from Ash Albot. It was picked up by Hatton, but he was immediately tackled. He lost the ball in the tackle. It found its way into the arms of Maxime Stefani, and he had a simple finish there, just skipped away from one defender, planted the ball down, and gets Toulouse's first points of the second half, and that will be the try that takes the game away from Featherstone here. It's 7.5 minutes to go at the Millennium Stadium. It's now Featherstone Rovers 4, Toulouse Olympique 16. And unfortunate there from Featherstone, scrambling hard defensively. But just coming up with the mistake, and probably one too many mistakes, if you like, from Featherstone. So when it's countered, and he adds the extra 2. Anthony Marion. Scoreline now: Featherstone 4, Toulouse 18. And they've had their moments at times in this game, Featherstone, but just not quite being good enough with their execution when it's mattered. As Marcon takes the short kick-off attempt, and Jousson now takes the ball forward again. Cater up towards the halfway line, 6 minutes to go, 14 points the difference. Featherstone, as it stands, look to be heading for another defeat here. Will stay on just 2 championship wins. Toulouse heading for their 5th win of the season in the championship, as Butler takes the ball forward. Jake Shorrock's back into the action, must have passed his HIA. The kick comes high from Lacans, taken by Olferts. Olferts did well there again, does even better. I was just about to say he's done well to stay in the field of play. Draws a penalty from Toulouse, a second effort there from Ruben Rennie. Featherstone will get a chance to clear their line here. The touch finder from Hampshire, modest. 25 metres out of the start of their set, flat pass there for O'Connor, but Olferts wasn't ready for it. A few Featherstone players getting frustrated. It's Beckett. Beckett put on the ground there by 3 Toulouse defenders. Addy. Out it comes to Reynolds, juggled it, kept hold of it himself, and he's put to ground. Another man knocked off the ball there. Addy this time, I think. The penalty goes against Toulouse. Back-to-back penalties, so Featherstone will have the opportunity to go on the attack here and finish with a flourish inside the final 5 minutes. It's Rodriguez is the man who's going to be called out here. And he's given 10 minutes here, Rodriguez. So he must have thought that the contact was late enough and dangerous enough to warrant a card. Baptiste Rodriguez sent to the sin bin for the final 4 minutes. So Toulouse will finish the game with 12 men. But with just over 4 minutes to go and a 14-point cushion, it will take something really special from Paul Cook's men to pull this one out of the fire. They need to score in this set now to have any faint hope here. As Hardcastle plays it for Addy, middle of the field now, drops off Beckett. Beckett, route one as he often does. Good strong carry. Featherstone need a little bit more than this. They need to start chancing their arm here. Out it comes to Hampshire, back in field to nice interchange of passing between Jones and Akins, but they just got hold of him to pull him to ground 10 metres out. Jones to Addy on the left. Flat pass there for Williams. Williams is going to take some stopping. Jordan Williams, he goes down half a metre short, and another penalty goes against Toulouse here. We're offside once again. Another false start. Wants them to take it on exactly on the mark. Beckett just backing his way up towards the line. Out the ball comes to Hampshire. Hampshire dummies, goes himself. Ryan Hampshire, can he get to the line? Good defence on show from Ashal Bot. Saved a certain try. Boothroyd at acting half. Trying to pinch one himself. In fact, he had to try to do so because they were up quickly on him. Long looping pass through the middle, taken by Beckett. Beckett does well to ride the challenge, looking for the offload, couldn't find one. And another penalty going against Toulouse. Well, I know he's just sin-binned a player, but how many times does a side need to be offside before there's a warning or further action taken? That's 3 on the bounce and 4 penalties in a row. Reynolds, over the top, the ball comes to Wynn. Wynn has to fire the ball back in five, and he's put his foot on the touchline. And Reynolds can't believe it. And Toulouse get round each other. There can't be more than a couple of minutes to go here. The score remains Featherstone 4, Toulouse 18, and that has been a real symptom of the game so far for Featherstone. So close, but yet so far. They've had opportunities in this second half, but have only been good enough to crack the Toulouse line once, and another wayward pass. Wynn did what he could to try and stay in field, fired the pass in, but put his feet on the touchline according to that touch judge on the far side. And Featherstone, more frustration for them. Toulouse will have the scrum feed. In fact, it'll just be a play of the ball 10 metres out. No real urgency to get the game back underway here as Rennie put on the ground there by Williams. I haven't seen Akawala again since going off at 10 minutes into the game. Belmas. Belmas plays it 30 out. Shorrocks back in field. It's intercepted by Williams. Williams, has he got the legs? He's going to race away and get a consolation try for Featherstone. Picked off the inside ball and grounds the ball just to the left-hand side of the post. Jordan Williams. Well, Featherstone, it looks like they'll finish this game with the final say. Jordan Williams, well read by the front row forward. They've used that ploy on the inside with Ashal Bot quite a few times. This time picked up by Williams, who raced 40 metres to score. Rocky Hampshire adds the extra 2 with very, very quickly. They know time is against them. And Featherstone now just 8 behind. It's Featherstone 10, Toulouse Olympique 18. Not sure exactly how long is left, but we are in the final minutes of this one. And Jordan Williams' intercept giving Featherstone the faintest of hopes here in this one. I think it may be too little too late. As I said, we don't have the stadium clock on. We know we'll be inside the final 2 minutes, if not even less. So it looks like the Jordan Williams try will become just a consolation one, but at least giving the Featherstone fans something to cheer about. As Toulouse finally ready to get the game back underway. Ashal Bot punches the ball downfield, taken by Hampshire. Pass fired out to Beckett. They need to get it wide here. Beckett looking to get his arm free. He's held in. 3-man tackle by Toulouse. Aikens. Akins to the middle of the field. Jones comes short side. Pass comes out to Hatton. Hatton put to ground there by Marcon as the siren sounds there and the referee blows full time. And Featherstone will fall to another defeat in the Betfred Championship. Toulouse get their 5th win of their championship campaign and will look to climb the table. Featherstone, frustration for them, showed real glimpses of dominance physically, missing quite a few key big men in the middle. Started both halves really well, but in the end their execution and ability to convert half chances just weren't good enough when it mattered the most. As Featherstone trailed by 12 points to nil at half-time thanks to a first half double to Benjamin Laguerre, 2 penalty goals to Jake Shorrocks. Daryl Olferts opened the account for the home side after 15 minutes of the second half. Then Maxime Stefani grabbed a try for the visitors to put the game beyond doubt with just a Jordan Williams consolation try in the end for Paul Cook's side. And despite plenty of endeavour, hard work, never giving up and keeping the game close, it ultimately ends in defeat for Featherstone Rovers here at the Millennium Stadium. It's finished Featherstone Rovers 10, Toulouse Olympique 18. Thank you very much for listening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.